Thanks for coming out tonight. I'm excited to see all of you. This is such a rad space. Thanks for having us. I'm going to read you some poems from my two different projects. The How to Take a Bullet manuscript. You'll recognize those because they start with how to. And every month Saturday Night Special has a theme. So I always write something for Saturday Night Special. And so I'm going to read you some of those as well. This first one is How to Survive Adrift at Sea. There are handprints all over your weekends, windows thrown wide to the night. The curve of loneliness renders strange fingers brushing your bare shoulder. You concoct an elixir of fire. Goldfish swim below the surface of sleep, unfurling the lantern sea until you can't stop dreaming the wet of it. You savor the sensation of drowning instead of writing. An impossible crush unfastens something that was neatly folded. Paper-thin panties hit the floor, dissolve into mint ice cream, the fragrance of another Wednesday night. But desire is never permanent, and something new inflates your lungs, vacating old beliefs. In the nick of time, in the nick of bone, in the bed of another lesson, in the unspoken, miles are traveled. And with these scissors, you can mend the holes.
Beautiful.
Storm. The nightscape is a skillet of coffee shops, bone-split patterns of jagged light, a swarm of incorrect sky. Nor can the go that green gives be ignored. These flesh vessels, their slippery delights, your willful promiscuity. We are wet hair, soul-drenched, infused with liquor. We are the sound of rain on a roof. Here is a uterus I just know you're going to love. Unyielding, purpling, the unraveling of the throat. In a storm that doubles as longing, how we flutter and thrust and ache. Gnaw at the angel's bloody hammer, strain against the rope, in this garden of little letdowns, until at last we curl in sleep, like private animals, we guardians of tenderness. This is Wiggle Room, and it was for Saturday Night Special's theme, Wiggle. I had nothing to do with that theme, but here's the poem I wrote for it. Wiggle Room. Because mosquitoes dress the night in terror, the bone of moaning wrapped in gauze, your sincerity has a strange wiggle, sultry hips twisting, soft as winter. You claim the mantis shrimp as your spirit animal, violent, yet resplendent in the dark. You wiggle till it bites, wiggle till it cuts. Memory tugs at the hem of you, like sparks of midnight, phosphorescence along the shore. This is your life, fading into the bottle. All that is precious is a fallacy of tone, a misunderstanding due to wind. You wrap your fingers around the reins. Late autumn light approaches at a slant, unfolding your distant reflection. How to navigate a minefield. The pen, the page, these weapons of change, these agents of inertia, of insurrection, of your voice, like the slow motion of snowmelt, sculpting a new landscape, as the flower of our times nods whitening. You locate change in abandonment, mine the body's oceans, the moon's slow tidings, churning with blood and sand. Blinded by the glare of culture, you attend to your dailiness. Remember the lessons of history, old news tied to the feet of birds, once urgent messages driven on the backs of beasts, news of revolution, news of change, news of a new kind of freedom, or half empty, the change of a new oppression, another silent story embedded in the subtext of the disappeared, of murdered journalists, grandmothers marching in plazas, and children burning to ash, while we build new bridges, buy new phones, the dim threat of apocalypse unheeded. You execute change in the trenches, alive with resistance, minding the power of rocks to mend the blood. How to control a runaway camel. Name your camel Alexander the Great, Charlie, honey baby, or cherry apple bend over surprise. Ownership begins with a name. Wrap your legs around the beast and dig your fingers into the brittle earth of its mane, coarse as a tongue. Learn how to say yes and no. Pay attention to the motion of sea in your hands, dry, folding and folded as a paper bird. Say to yourself, practice makes permanent. Your camel reeks of damp, socks and urine, leftover laundry, after you fall out of love. Never tell Charlie where you are going. Remember, the ride is a game. You must chase the one who runs. Run from those who chase.
Ooh.
All right, 2 more. How to fend off a shark. Wet fists in your eyes, the thump of undrumming, a figure in your peripheral vision. Here is the rind of night, facing off on a rock of ice, nightgown whipping, ragged around your thighs. Because silence is an expression of fear. Unwave that flag, unsmoke that cigarette, unfuck that friend. These desperate little fistfuls of defiance. This jazz song does not belong to you. Warm, the sensation of sleep. Threadbare, the quality of wishing. Because police are at the door again. This wrecking ball in your bedroom, this fresh fountain of silver in your hair. Blue, the function of smoke. Rumpled, the flavor of resistance. There are things that vanish unexpectedly. The stone talisman you carried for luck. Photographs burned in a fire. Bewildered, the pillow of regret. Because our experiences overlap. Bodies at rest, hoarding dreams like stolen rainwater. And the last poem is my ode to Oakland.
Uh-oh, get it?
Last time I read this, people asked me if I would post it on Facebook, and I said, no, I want someone to publish it. And the next day, someone said, I want that poem. So it's coming out in December. Samizdat is going to publish it online, so if you want to hear it.
Are you from Oakland?
Oh yeah, I'm from Oakland. Ode to Oakland. In my neighborhood, hooded figures stalk the midnight periphery. And for the first time in 20 years, I feel the heat of fear. A boa constrictor tightening its grip. Oh, Oakland, robbery capital of America, you dirty city, you shadow sister, with your perfect weather, trendy restaurants, and cheap apartments. The string of pearls lighting your lake, your legacy of violence, looming and rearing. 1 step forward, 2 steps behind you, 3 fatherless teenagers are armed with guns. Because why stand on a street corner when you can make $300 in 30 seconds stealing cell phones from drunk hipsters? And 86-year-old women, and mothers unloading their groceries, and waiters on their way home from work, and cashiers at 7-Eleven, and you walking home from the bar just 3 blocks away. The police are non-existent, of course, like city funds. In the illusory safety of the dining room, we debate the merits of vigilante justice. Guardian angels, Hell's Angels, East Bay rats, roving posses of business owners armed with ball bats. Meanwhile, on a bench nearby, 4 more people are mugged at gunpoint. 1 girl is shot in the leg. Another is severely pistol whipped. A friend's car is stolen for the 2nd time. Oh, Oakland, you asshole. This is why we can't have nice things. Thanks.